Well, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are getting a little creative and we are going to make a reusable project using this cool diamond tape I got from Onedaysaving. So you would have seen this on the show earlier being unboxed. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this small tin. This is just an old deodorant tin. I've washed it and so forth, and we're going to clean this one up, and this is going to be what we're going to basically recycle and make a new crafty item. The other thing we will need is some material of your choice. I had a bit of this black penny velvet hanging around the place, and I thought I need a little square, so I'm going to snip a bit of that off, and it'll look really nice with this black sparkly tape, and I'll go together well. I've also got some of this wadding that I had lying around, so I'm going to use that just for some padding for the lid of the tin. So I've got those couple of products. I'm going to use a glue gun as one of my tools, and of course I will have some glue sticks. I found these ones, they're glittery, stuck in one of my drawers. I figured that will do. I couldn't find my clear ones, so you know, a little bit of sparkle is not going to matter to this project. We want bling, we want some glitter, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so that is probably most of my main items that I'm going to use for this crafty thing. Of course I will probably use some scissors to cut like the material and the wadding, so yeah, you'll need those as well to do this sort of project. So it's not a lot involved in it. The main thing is you have this tin, which we will clean, and then we can obviously put everything together. So that is basically a rundown of all the tools and things you will need. First of all, I've got my tin, and what I did was I took it away and washed it. I gave it just warm water and steel wool pad, and I cleaned it all down, just to make sure that there was nothing left of the residue of the deodorant. This was a deodorant tin. It didn't matter that I washed off some of the paint, etc., because it's all going to be covered anyway. I really want just the inside of the tin to be nice and clean, because I'm going to put my craft supplies and so forth in there, and I'll be covering the edge and the top of this tin anyway with all the material. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the wadding and the material, and I'm going to cut a section that's going to cover the top of the tin. So I'm just going to do some rough measurements using the tin lid to get what I think will work basically for a size. So here we are with the wadding. I'm going to now just put probably 3, I think, lengths of the tin size of wadding. I think that will be enough to give it the padding I want. I'm going to fold this over, so give it that thickness and so they can sit on top of the lid. So that's what the first steps will be. As I said, I'm just doing rough measurements for this project. I'm not going to sit in there and get really excited about actual lengths of things, because this tin will probably be different to your tin and so forth. So I'm just going to just give rough measurements as far as saying I'm going to use, say, 3 lengths of my lid, or my tin's lid size. I don't know, but you know what I mean. You can see what I'm doing. Anyway, so let's cut off this wadding. As I said, I folded it 3 times to give it some nice thickness. I'm not sure what kind this was or where I got it for, what I was actually using it originally for, but it's just a leftover I found in my craft drawers. So you can use whatever you've got at home. If you've got something else or similar sort of product, that's what I'm just using. I'm using leftovers around my house. Alright, so that is pretty much the wadding covering over my lid. Just sort of giving a bit of a check, making sure it seems right, looks right, etc. Now I'm going to take my cloth, and this is, as I said, a black penny velvet. I've got quite a lot of these floating around the place from markets, and I'm just going to use a section of it I want to make sure I've got enough to come down the sides of the wadding. So I want to go a little bit around the edge of this actual tin. So I want to make sure I've got enough to wrap it around to the edge. I'm not going to go right into the center of the tin, but I do want to have enough to get over the top of the wadding and enough material to come around the sides of the actual lid. So that is, again, is just a rough measurement, and then I'm just going to cut this material in a very rough fashion, just to get the basic shape I want off the actual large piece of material, which is being very awkward and wants to slide around my table. Alright, so that is all I need from the material side of things. As I said, that was a large piece, but you could just use any little scrappy type of material, a colour, style you like. So yeah, it's up to you what kind of material. I just happen to have this lying around and I thought it looked really nice for the type of tape that I had. Alright, so this is just getting a bit of a quick check to make sure I've got enough material to cover my lid, and it's sort of going to come together in its size and so forth. So I think the next step will be to basically apply that wadding and that material somehow to this lid, and that will be using the glue gun for that. Okay, so I've taken the wadding and the piece of material and I'm just going to fold it over, again just roughly trying to get a bit of a shape. A little bit of trimming of the corners so that I can fold this in to give it a good sort of a good folded shape, I think is what I'm trying to do here. I thought if I snip just the corners as just like a parcel, then I can wrap this up. So I'm just really wrapping up the wadding using the material. So I'm using the hot glue gun, and what I'm going to do is just sort of attach some of the corners to my wadding of my material, trying to hold the shape and not burn my fingers in the process, because I have a really bad habit of doing that with glue guns. So my corners are not coming up as neat as I'd like to. I'm no professional here. Alright, so after much struggling there, I've gotten that padding the way I want it for now, but I will continue on with the rest of the project. So I decided I would add some of this tape. It's just black duct tape, and what I want to do is just cover all this writing on the back of the tin. I hadn't sort of thought of that at the time I started the project, so this was sort of halfway through, and I decided, you know what, I need to get rid of that that writing and so forth on the back of the tin, because I thought it was going to just take away from the end result. Everything else was sort of coming along with like all this, you know, black and sparkly things, and I thought the old writing on the bottom of the tin might be a bit take away a little bit from the end result of the project. So I thought if I just cover that up, and the easiest way I could think of at the time was to use some of this black duct tape, or I probably could have used my black material tape, anything like that, and some sharp scissors would also be awesome right now. But yeah, so I decided that all I need to do is just cover that bottom of my tin. And I'm just trimming off the excess little bits and pieces of the tape, just to give it a bit of, a bit of a nice clean edge. Doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, there we go. So that's just the bottom being covered. I had to add a little extra piece there to give it full coverage, but that is the base covered. Now, the next thing I want to do is use this gorgeous diamond adhesive tape that I got. And I'm going to put that on the sides of the tin. Now, the lid shuts down, if you know what I mean, over the top of that area. It's actually a perfect size area for my tape, the edge of this tin. but when the lid actually closes, it has that little edge as well. So what I'll need to do is just measure roughly, of course, that section, and I'm going to just use my scissors and cut this tape along that line so that one section will be on the lid and the other will sit on the base. So I'm only using the one cut of the actual diamond tape, the crafting tape that I want to use. So I'm just splitting that so it can actually be, as I say, on the top and on the bottom of the lid and matching hopefully perfectly with a bit of luck. Alrighty, let's see how we went with that. So I'm taking off the backing to the adhesive, and I'm just going to start in this corner here, and I'm going to hope that it's going to cover the area that it needs to. And this is going on so easily. I cut a little bit crooked there, but that's my fault. But in general, it goes on and works with. This is so easy to work with. This is a great product. It goes on and sticks on quite well, but if I want to pull it back like so to trim it, yeah, it's very easy to work with. So there we go. And that's decorated the bottom part of my tin in just moments. Look how quick that was. And it's beautiful and sparkly. Yeah, so this is a really, this is a win. Because my lid comes down on this edge, I couldn't bring it right up, so that's why I cut it. And that matches quite nicely with the black tape on the bottom. So there we go. That is basically the bottom of the tin decorated using those tapes. I'm going to use this other piece of the tape here and put that around this edge. So I'm just putting on some black tape around here just to give it a really nice finish. I wanted to make sure that it was covering all of the actual lid and giving a nice finish. I don't think you technically would have to do this sort of part. It is a little bit fidgety, but I just felt that it would give it a nice extra bit of cover. So I'm just reusing the same piece of tape. I didn't have to get another one, and I just kept realigning it along my lid and seeing how far that could go, and then sort of just cutting it off as I needed it, and just using thin strips all the way around. So now that I've got that black tape on there, my base is all done, I'm going to use the other section of the diamond tape to go around the lid. So just taking off the backing, and I'm just going to start in one corner and just keeping a nice tension, keeping it nice and straight along the edge of my lid and pressing down and applying that tape directly over the other black duct tape there, just to give it a nice background. And because it's already pretty much cut perfect to shape, it goes on really nice and easy. Now the next part is applying my little spongy top to this lid. So I'm adding some glue using my hot glue gun, being very careful I don't burn myself. As I said, I have a habit of doing that with these things. So I put a very generous cover of glue. So this is the piece of wadding and material that I wrapped up earlier and struggled with. So now I'm going to try and put it as even as possible to the top of my lid. I'm sorry it's a little bit out of shot there, but it's sort of difficult to see what I wanted to do as well as keep it in view of the camera. But as you can see, I'm just gently maneuvering into place on top of the actual lid, trying to make sure it goes on as straight or to the main direction of where I want it to. Once I was happy, I added more pressure and applied quite quickly. Now, what I found is that I needed to go into using a different glue for around the edge because I wanted to fill this edge up. So I decided trying one of the silver glittery glue sticks. And this was a bit of a messy process, so I wasn't exactly happy on how well I did this part. Maybe just doing a clear would have been better on the grounds that you wouldn't see how wonky my lines were. But I do like the sparkle of the silvery glue stick, and it sort of gave it definitely gave its own character. But I'm just using that to help shape and seal this wadding and material onto the top of the lid. The great thing about glue guns is they dry rather quickly. They usually leave a few hairs here and there of stringy stuff, but that's easily to clean off. But yeah, you know, waiting for things to dry. So I can pretty much instantly keep going with this project. I like that about glue guns. So this is pretty much it. That is the edge I glued on with the glitter. As you can see, it's a bit rough. But my lid opens and closes quite well. I have no problems there. I've got a nice padded top and a beautiful glittery edge to my tin. Now my tin is all finished. It is ready to add all the goodies into it. I have decided this tin is now going to be a pin tin, and use the top to place any pins I might be removing from a project, or as you can see, you can keep them stored in there quite nicely. So this is a fun little project. I decided to use my diamond tape from Onedaysaving. As you can see there, it's absolutely gorgeous and sparkly. And yeah, it came up really well. It was a very easy product to use. The rest of the stuff was a little bit tricky, but I made it do. But I really, really liked working with that tape, and that was the main goal for this project. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed looking at how I worked up my own little crafty project using this tape from Onedaysaving. I'm keeping all my pins nice and tidy, and I have a little cushion now to put them all in. So yeah, this was a fun little project, and I hope you enjoyed and were inspired by this crafty idea, and maybe you can recycle something yourself into something reusable, or you can go and check out some of these cool products from Onedaysaving. This tape will be linked in the description box down below for you guys. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoy this crafty project. I'll see you in my next video. Till next time, stay well, be safe, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks, guys.